Well, great to have you, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us for one of our sort of chats to past clients and successful real estate agents. Really appreciate it. So this is
my pleasure.
Lindsay Earnshaw from Earnshaw's Real Estate.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
That's all right. The rebranded Earnshaw's Real Estate. We just went through a rebranding. We launched it 2 weeks ago.
Wow, I haven't seen that, so I'll certainly look out for that, mate. Well done.
Yeah. We had it only took me 3 years to be convinced to change.
Fair enough. Yeah, look, and a change is like a holiday, they say.
That's right. Yeah. No, but now that I've seen what it looks like and everything, it's very refreshed and it's good. Yeah, it's good.
So it's already up and running?
Yes. Yeah. All the signs have changed. The few things we haven't, it's like those little teething problems that you forget or you put on the back burner and say, we'll do that when we can. But no, it's good. It's good.
Well done, mate. Well done. And first of all, a big thanks to you because you manage my properties down there in the foothills, and you've listed a couple of properties that are subdivided, and you've sold those as well. So, a big thank you to you and your team for a great job done, mate.
Cheers.
And another big congratulations, mate. You're tearing up the track. October. Number 7 top team by listing sold and 13 top team by value sold in WA, and then also 2019-2020 top 14th value sold and 10th listing sold. So, mate, top 10 agent in WA. That's huge.
It is for our team. Yeah, we've got a pretty amazing team. The three of us, Jackie, myself, and Shirley. So yeah, we've had a really good year, but we've worked hard at it for the last 3 or 4 years, and it just all came together for us in this last 12 months. It's been good. Something that we've really strived toward. But I mean, you're not a stranger to success. And we go back a long time, mate. We did a 12-month coaching program together. I was trying to think when that was. I've got it down as 2005, 2006. Yeah, 2006. Yeah, 2006. It started, I think, February 2006. That's right. I remember going to a coaching session with Tonic. It was when Paul started his altitude success. And he said to us because we sort of met every 6 weeks. And I remember him saying, because you were there with your business partner, I think, from memory.
Yes.
And he said, what I want you to do is go out there and do something that's really going to make you uncomfortable. Yes. And then 6 weeks we came back. I remember him saying that you and your business partner went to some building in Perth, and you stood in the elevators, you went up and down the lift for 2 hours, and you had to talk to everyone that came into the lift.
That's right. That's a true story. True story. Yeah. The things we were told to do by our coaches, eh?
That's exactly right.
Absolutely, mate. And so that, I mean, that's 2006. Geez, that's like 14 years ago.
14 years ago. Yep.
But that's where we met, and we've obviously come across each other many, many times. And you've got a very interesting story. How did it all start about, Lindsay?
So in 2004 was when I started. I worked for George Sarich down in Midland. After a couple, and I was given, like everyone was, I was given a patch to work. Greenmount, so the lower foothills area. That was when you were selling a property for 80 grand. You were probably getting $3,000 GCI, if you were lucky. Anything that sort of started with a 5, you thought you were rolling in it. But I was brought up in Glen Forest in the hills and sort of had a passion to go back to that area. So the opportunity arose for me to, I got poached by Trevor Clark. I actually poached by one of his reps. He did it very strategically, got his rep to do his dirty work for him. So in 2006, on my birthday, I actually started at Trevor Clark's. And over the next 4 years, I suppose that's where I really hit my straps. Probably 2000. So we were selling properties where the average com was 5 grand. We were selling, I personally was selling 40 or 50 properties a year, 200, 250 GCI back in, 98, 99. 2000, one of my guys I worked with, we went out in our own business and started up in Glen Forest.
210?
No, 2000. So I was with Trevor for 4 years.
Wow.
And then in 2000, we opened up our own business up in Glen Forest.
Wow.
And then I suppose over the next 3 or 4 years, my mindset changed to really try and really crank things up. So 2006, I did the tonic program, and probably from there, things seemed to double. I went from sort of writing one, because I went down a bit, went writing 150 to 300 to then 450, hit a bit of a plateau for 2 or 3 years. Things seemed to come to me in 7-year itches. So in 2007, I bought my old business partner out. So then I was just on my own. Things went really, really well. And in 2012, I had the opportunity to buy Trevor's business and then move from Glen Forest down to Darlington. So I bought my old boss's business. We doubled the rent roll. We doubled the size of the staff. And then I suppose that was the time then I put on, then I just started to employ people around me that could help me leverage to grow the business. So I was starting to then get to a point where I was handling, 30, 40, 50 properties, at any one time, and then took on some land subdivisions. To probably the peak of last year, we were probably managing, the three of us were handling, 110 properties at any one time, and probably in the last stats that I looked at on Friday last week, we'd sold 111 properties in the last 12 months.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Cheers.
So how have you, just a quick dab, how have you stayed at the top of your game for such a long time? Now, obviously you've started as a rookie, just like most, and then, crept up, bought the business just like me, and then, went to sort of as, great salesperson, and then obviously, built the EBU. How have you maintained that kind of consistency and growth?
Probably a few words, Ryan. It has to be systems. If you don't have your systems and your procedures, and be very dedicated and disciplined to those, then you really will do this. And for us, for me in particular, it's just making sure that I've got a prospecting program that I don't tinker with an awful lot. It's been with me for 26 years, basically. It was introduced to me 26 years ago. I still do it now. Every day, there's, I suppose the basics are done every day. Just those little basics. And they're things that people would have done back in the 1920s. It's a people, I think we forget, Ryan, that it's a people business. And, I've heard it many a times, it's just belly to belly like we are now, face to face. If you can't do that and get in front of people, then, and for me, that's all it is. It's just getting in front of people consistently. That has enabled me to stay at that level. But it's getting to a level that you then know, gee, I can't maintain this or I'm going to burn out. So you put another person on, you employ someone. Then you get to another level and you go, well, in actual fact, for us to grow, I need to put another person on. Now, I understand with a lot of people, they might not want to grow. And, being a boss, that's probably the hardest thing when I'm extremely self-driven and I have people around me that get to a level. But I've begun to realise that that's actually okay. So if you're a rep out there and you're writing 200, 250, if you want to earn 150 on your group certificate, if you want to earn 100 grand, whatever that number is, make sure A, you're comfortable with that in your own skin, and B, make sure you're working for a company that also says that's okay. When you get the disjointedness where your boss wants you to be earning here, but you only want to be earning here, that's not a good place to be in. So, I know myself with my staff, every year we sit down and have we basically focus on 20% of what's happened and 80% on what's going to happen. So the 20% is what have you done? What are you happy with? What do you intend to improve on, etc.? And we focus on what you want to do. And I actually get them to sign off it, and I have literally no input into it, except encouragement and saying, that's all right. Or, look, I think you're pitching too high. Do you really want to be tripling the amount of work, your hours you're working, etc.? And that's what our team does every year. We sit down and go, where do we want to take it? Last year, for the first time, we cracked the $1 million mark in GCI, and we wrote 1.14 or something or other, and we're on track to write 1.4 this year. So,
wow, mate, that's amazing.
Yeah, which is awesome.
That's incredible.
We set that down as a goal, and we knew that if we wanted to increase by 25%, let's say, what extra work has to be done, what extra activities need to be done. So
yeah.
In a nutshell, I think that's how a lot of it is just systems, keeping things simple, but also knowing your numbers and sticking to your plan. Yeah.
Pretty much, mate. The correct application of the most basic principles done consistently, persistently, forever.
It's not rocket science, and yet seriously, Ryan, we sometimes get paid like rocket scientists.
I know.
And it's scary,
Yes.
that those numbers that I was just saying to you. You do look around, and you've only got to look at those real stats, and you've only got to go over to the dollar sign of what people have, and times it by 0.2 if you want. Think, gee whiz, that person made $100,000 for the month, $100,000 for the month for themselves.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be that highly educated.
No, but yet people don't do it. It's the highest paying job in the world, but it's also the lowest paying job in the world. And I think what you said there earlier about talking to the salespeople and actually figuring out what they want is so important, because if they don't know, I mean, it's no point. Most organizations that I work with, they set the goals for the salespeople, and I say to them, well, how have you spoken to them? I know you want them to write 250, 350, 450, and I know that's based on what they wrote last year. But first of all, do they have the tools? Do they have the support network? Do they have the training? There's different levels, and at different levels makes different changes, which is kind of what I wanted to talk to you about now. So obviously your EBU, Jackie and Shirley, I've dealt with both of them. I've trained Shirley, so I know them intimately, and I know their work ethic and how good it is. But tell us how that has changed your business, because I remember when I was working with Shirley, you already had Shirley, but I think the big change with me was getting you to hand over your phone to Shirley, and that was groundbreaking for us and changed your business. So talk to us about your EBU, what Jackie does, what Shirley does, and how that's freed you up now to enjoy a better life, make more money than you've ever made, and write better business.
What you pretty much said then, Ryan, was you need to sit down and work out what it is you want someone else to do. So I had, for probably since 2006, I'd put on admin assistants, because everyone said when get to a certain figure and you hit this plateau and you can't get above it, you hit this barrier, you need an admin assistant. So I probably went through three, because that's not who I needed. I didn't need an admin assistant. It wasn't until Shirley's been with us now for, I think, 5 years. 2014, end of 2013, I was burning myself out, and I actually, Kendall, my wife, we sat down and she said, righto, what is it that is stopping you? And I went, buyers. That's what's stopping me, because they ring you, and it was just, I need someone to answer this. I need someone to take that away from me. So that's what Kendall went out and interviewed and looked for, and we came across Shirley. Who, all three of us were all similar age. We've got fabulous work ethics, like seriously strong work ethics. So Shirley does Shirley's whole job is buyer work. Part of buyer work is communicating to the seller, etc. But she knows all she has to do is work with a buyer, write the contract, and give it to me, and then she goes off to find another buyer. That's all she does. That's all she does. So then I negotiate it. So I do all the appraisals. I do all the prospecting for appraisals, for listings, etc. Shirley, obviously, with buyer work, does some of that. It just comes organically. But she's got her targets that she needs to, bring in appraisals for the month. And I come in, I do all the seller work throughout the listing to sale, so all the feedback, price negotiations, etc. And then I come in at the end as well to do the negotiation. So Shirley knows she can form a relationship with a buyer, but she doesn't have to get hard and dirty with them to get that extra umpteen dollars, whatever that the owner wants. Okay. And that was for me that was like that magic moment, Ryan, when I realized that where I was dealing with, because Shirley set it up so well that she explained the situation, the system to the buyer, that I would ring the buyers. Half the time, I would never have met them, never have spoken to them, but here I am negotiating with them to get more money. And that was easy because I didn't know their situation. I didn't have to know their personal side. And that made it really easy. And I sort of learned that probably from Paul, who was he was a negotiator with the police force, and everything was done on phone. It was never done face to face. He didn't need to know the people. So that for me was a big learning. So then Jackie does all the admin side, all the marketing, all the admin side. So again, we don't have to worry about that, what gets done on that side. She's, how many times does a single agent on their own get a phone call while they're driving saying, can you drop the price to such and such, or whatever it might be? She books all my appraisals. She books all my appointments, so I don't have to worry about that. And it just enables you to. There's no way in the world one person on their own today now can handle, I believe, much more than 20 listings at a time. They're really struggling with the and the word's gone out of my head.
Admin, the marketing, it's just mental.
Marketing, but also too what the requirements of people, what people want from.
The service levels, absolutely.
The service level, that's right. Yeah, sorry, Ryan. So for me, we can now manage 60, 70, 80 properties because every time you put someone else on, you should be able to double, if not more than double, what you're doing.
Sure,
you should.
Absolutely.
So for me, and look, Ryan, it's now given me my weekends off. I work probably 1 in 4 weekends.
Wow. How old's the young bloke now?
7.5, nearly 8.
Nearly 8. So yeah. So he was tiny young lad when we were sort of doing some training with the staff. So he needs you right now, and I know your daughter is grown up and doing her own thing.
So the two big kids are flying the coop. They've left home, but so they're in their early 20s, early mid 20s, and then Paddy's he's nearly 8. So it's second time round, just having those, having Shirley doing, and a lot of people say to me, Ryan, but doesn't the owner, but the owner employs you. The owner only employs you if that's what you tell them. But if you educate them up front, and I know all my competitors, that's exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, no, give it to Lindsay and he'll just palm you off. I'm talking to them 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes, look, it might be by email, might be by text, but they also know that they don't have to speak to me, that the other two are totally and utterly capable, and they're, we meet 3 or 4 times a week just so we know what's going on. So yes, they may not talk to me all the time, but my business wouldn't have grown if that was a problem. It just wouldn't. So it's just a mindset thing. It really is a mindset that an owner needs one person. In actual fact, I honestly believe, hand on heart, that when an owner employs one rep, one agent, and I know there's a lot of them out there, and I'm probably going to get in trouble saying this, Ryan, but I actually think they're doing themselves a disservice.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, all you have to do is call a real estate agent, and 80% of the time the phone goes to voicemail. Now, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on marketing, and you're spending hundreds of hours prospecting, and then the phones don't get answered. And the only time I could ever answer my phone, or my phone was ever answered, was when I had a team of 3 people, just like you, writing big numbers and doing big things. But a couple of things you mentioned there I want to drill down. First of all, because a lot of people have got the wrong concept about this. When you take on PAs or support people, that you move away from prospecting, that's total guff. So let's just drill down on that. So because you said it earlier, you said I do more prospecting now because I've got more time. Now, obviously, there is prospecting PAs that you can do to do mass stuff, but building those relationships and keeping those repeat and referral businesses going, and sometimes you're making 100 to 200 phone calls a week, it's very difficult to palm those off. Am I right?
You're right. You can, to a certain extent, Ryan, and I'm
buyers,
saying,
yes,
yeah.
Buyers, definitely.
Yeah. But even a past appraisal, you know, every now and then I'll get my daughter Caitlin to do it. You know, she'll come in and she'll do some extra hours, but it's specific. It is
Yes.
purely a touch point, just to say we're still here. It's and it might be through. You know, I'm calling on behalf of Lindsay Earnshaw. I just want to make sure, Ryan, that I've got all your details correct. I've obviously got your phone number correct because we rang you, but a lot of people are changing their emails, and it's purely a touch point to say my name, and B, so that you as a client, Ryan Thompson, know that we're still thinking about you.
Yeah.
But you can't rely on that. So, you know, telemarketers and that sort of stuff, people still need to hear your voice or
so
see
it's
your
over
hand.
and above. It's the spice. It's not the main meal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The double barrel negotiation, which you mentioned. So Shirley writes up the offer. She negotiates to a certain point, but obviously she doesn't have the skill that you have. She brings it to a certain point. Then she brings it to you. She's negotiated them as far as you can. And with your guidance, you've told her what to say, what to do. So she's brought it to you. You now know that you're not quite there. And you've got no relationship with these buyers, and you come into the negotiation quite unemotional. Am I right? And
Absolutely.
you're able to say to them, look, guys, I know you really want this property. Shirley's told me, you know, your circumstance. I really appreciate it, but look, I don't want to be sort of rude, but you're not buying the property, and you know you need to come up another 5. That double barrel negotiation has immense power, doesn't it?
Huge. Yeah. What you do is you take out the emotional side of the agent buyer relationship.
Yes.
Because the Shirley has formed that, but she is very clear. Her job is just to get the offer. She doesn't even need to negotiate them higher than what they want to start. That's not. She doesn't have to. No. She's often bringing me an offer, and I'll use spare, but I'll say, oh, bloody hell, Shirley, is that all? She said, that's my job. Over to you. I'll see you later on. And off she goes. Yeah. Because that's her job. That is in her job description. It's written in there. Just bring. I'm able to then bring the buyer and discuss why they've made that offer. Why are they coming up to the hills? Why are they buying it? So then I can use that for later on. But I have no relationship there. And Ryan, the best example I can give to you on that, and people that are listening to this is, I will do buyer appointments, and I will all that sort of stuff. And I remember a couple that bought a property now, but I got to show them 3 or 4 properties, and they missed out on one, and then we got them into another property. We're negotiating an offer, which was a conjunctional offer within the office. Okay. So, and I didn't push them hard enough because I liked them. They were a really nice family, and I wanted them to get it. So I was a little bit softer on my push and what have you, and they missed out on it. And guys, they missed out on it because of me, not because of them. Because had I pushed them harder and said, mate, put another 20 grand down, what are you going to, and when I did everything that I would normally do to get someone up, I didn't, because I liked them.
You had too much emotion in it,
I had too much emotion in it, and therefore, so now, you know, there was the other side to that is there was a property in Parkerville that we sold, and it wasn't until I got the deal together that, you know, like I always do, I messaged the team and said, great, you know, this one's together, you know, and Shirley said, that's great. They'll be so happy to move because they need to get here early because their son is dying of cancer. If I had have known that, can you imagine how I would have negotiated? And look, the owners, I think as agents, we really forget owners are paying us tens of thousands of dollars to help them sell their home. It's not our job to leave $5,000 on the table unless the owner wants us to. It's not our job to do that. And sometimes, as single agents, we get too close to the buyer to then allow the owner to get what they deserve that they're paying us for.
Absolutely. Spot on, mate. So obviously, having been in the real estate industry since, is it 94, you said?
Yeah, it was my 26th anniversary Saturday just gone.
Wow. Congratulations, mate. That's awesome.
Thanks,
And where to from here? So where are you heading from here? Are you looking for an early retirement, or are you going to work because you want to work, not because you have to work? Tell me how you're going to.
No, Ryan, I love what I do. You know, look, as agents, we every now and then, and especially I suppose as business owners, every now and then we say, bugger it, sell the bloody lot and what have you. But that's an emotional thing. But I'm only now sitting down with my business coach and Kendall, and we're going through a 5-year plan. You know, that takes me to 57.
Yeah.
And for me, it's where to from here is I want to at 57 be able to say, I don't have to work, and I don't have to rely on the income that the business is bringing in. So how do we get to that point? How do we get it there?
Yes.
I'll still work. I love what I do. I can't see myself even at 65 bloody retiring. Whether I'm still doing this or not, I don't know. But I'll still be doing something. And I just see in the next 5 years the industry going through some really enjoyable times. You know, we've worked bloody hard for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is a flash in the pan. I don't think the way the market is now is a flash in the pan. I can see it being this way for another couple of years. And this is why we work so hard for it, really. Yeah.
Well, it was 10 years of downturn. Well, eight to be exact. I mean, market kicked on for us in 2010 and it died in 2013. So 2013 to 2020, we've had a really crap time. So, okay, we had 4 or 5 years prior to that, but that's a long time to wait for a bit of a rise. So 5 good years, then 3 bad ones, and then 3 good ones, and then 7 bad ones. That's pretty harsh.
It is.
So yeah, make hay while the sun shines. So mate, 5 points on staying or having a great life in real estate for real estate agents. What tips can you give the guys?
To me, it's keeping it simple. Look, systems, procedures, and planning. You know, that's just one. And I know that's 3 of them, but that's in one. If you need your systems that you know are working.
Yep.
And if you don't have them, there's there's plenty of places out there that you can find them. But if you're not sure, just look for people. And I've got this one is surround yourself with good people. But if you don't have a system or you're really unsure of it, then find someone. But also, if I can just say, follow their train tracks, follow their footprints. I remember years ago, and you probably there, but Matt Steinway, and we all know Matt Steinway. But that's the one thing, and the number of people that I would talk to that would sort of say, "Oh yeah, but I'll just play with this bit of it." No, the guy writes $4 or $5 million. You know, James Totterman, he writes so much money. Just follow exactly what he does. Don't deviate. There's that. Stick to the basics, and do those every day. It's the stuff that Bob Boland would have been teaching bloody 30 years ago, wouldn't it? 40 years ago. It's just, it's not rocket science. The one thing is, I suppose that one of my big bugbears is know your numbers. You need to plan and then know what you need to do. You know, even now I have quarterly meetings with my reps, and they'll walk in and I'll say, okay, so how you been doing this? And they'll go, well, you've got the numbers, you know.
Oh.
And that's true, I do. And I'm that way inclined that I go, and I'll always give them to you. But you really need to know yourself that you need to do X number of appraisals. And also too, when I say that, and my philosophy on it, Ryan, is you only need to focus on what you can control. So I can't control the number of sales I do. I can influence, but I can't fully control. So I can't control my GCI. So I don't focus on the 1.2. I focus on, I know I need to ring so many people per day, because I can actually do that. I need to write so many cards a day. I need to have coffee at the local cafes every day. So I only focus on what I can control, because all the others will actually happen if you do it, if you know your numbers and you do it consistently. Have a dedicated prospecting plan. If you don't have that, man, you're screwed. I'm sorry, you really are. You just, you know. And last one, surround yourself with good people, and make sure they're people that want to go for the ride, want to go for your journey with you, are really happy to learn, but also to surround your people that are actually better than you. And when probably better is not the right word, is it, Ryan? But, you know, for me, I surrounded myself, you know, Paul Tonich, he was riding like 1.7 million. We're talking in 2006. And I went, there's probably a thing or two I could learn off that.
And he did it like 6 years in a row. So
exactly right.
He was a pretty good guy to learn from.
So surround yourself with people that are in your field that are actually doing better, because what will happen is you'll pull yourself up like that. So, absolutely.
Great. And yeah, mate, so thank you so much. You've been a legend, you know, and you know, your team and yourself have been a client and a personal friend of mine. And I've loved hanging around you as well, because I've learned so much from you and your crew. And we've done a lot of business over the years as well through auctions and things like that. So big thanks from us to you, mate, for the support and the friendship. And thanks again for looking after those properties for us, mate. I've got a couple of really good reds that I'm holding on until settlement, and we'll bring those over for you. But no, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure, mate. And yeah, keep kicking goals, mate, and loving life.
We will. Thanks, Ryan. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Take care. It's been a pleasure. See ya.
Cheers.
Ta-da. Bye-bye.